One quiet morning, the skies above Earth looked calm, but in space, something massive was moving. Earth's satellites picked up a strange signal, one they had never seen before. It was not a distress call. It was not a warning. It was a command. A fleet had entered the solar system. Not just a few ships, but thousands. Giant warships, shaped like daggers, moved together in a perfect line. Each one glowed with cold blue lights and carried weapons powerful enough to destroy entire cities. This was no exploration mission. This was an invasion. The signal came from the center of the fleet. It was a message from the Galactic Empire, a force known across many star systems for conquering weaker planets. The message was short, sharp, and terrifying. Earth, submit to our rule or be erased. The voice was not human. It was deep, mechanical, and carried the weight of death. The message was broadcast to all global leaders, governments, and even public news networks. Within minutes, panic spread like wildfire. In war rooms and hidden bunkers, Earth's leaders gathered. Presidents, generals, scientists, and intelligence chiefs all stared at the same screen. No one spoke for a long time. Some wanted to reply, some wanted to fight. Others feared it was already too late. Earth had no fleet that could match what now floated above Neptune's orbit. The size, technology, and force of the Empire were overwhelming. Many feared this was the end. But while the world trembled, something else was happening behind the scenes. Deep under the oceans, inside mountains, and in orbit around the moon, secret systems woke up. Long ago, Earth had begun preparing, not just for war, but for this exact moment. A shadow defense network, unknown to even some world leaders, had been quietly built by a group called Aegis, an alliance of the world's most brilliant minds, AI systems, and former space agency operatives. They had seen signs years ago, disappearing. Probes, glimpses of strange activity near deep space. They had warned the governments, but were mostly ignored. So they built in silence. Now, Aegis sent a quiet message to Earth's global leaders. Do not respond yet. Let us watch. Let us prepare. The real defense has already begun. In a small control room deep beneath Iceland's ice fields, a woman named Commander Ilara stood in front of a giant screen. She was the director of Aegis. Her eyes were cold, focused. Around her, teams of scientists and tactical officers were already working. Satellites were being redirected. Orbital defense platforms were charging. Hidden missile silos came online. Ilara gave a simple order. No one replies to the Empire. Not yet. Let them think we're afraid. Above Earth, the fleet moved closer. Empire scouts were already mapping the planet, scanning for weaknesses. They found military bases, power plants, cities. But they didn't find Aegis. Everything important was hidden, buried, or cloaked in advanced quantum shields. To the Empire, Earth still looked unprepared. That was the plan. In the days that followed, strange events began. One of the Empire's small scout ships went dark. No signal, no explosion, just silence. Then another ship vanished, without warning, without a trace. Inside the Empire command ship, Admiral Kravos watched the data with growing confusion. They are hiding something, he said. But what? Meanwhile, Earth's people watched the skies with fear. News channels ran constant updates. The word surrender was whispered in halls of power. But slowly, that fear began to turn. Across countries, people started to unite. Enemies became allies. Old wars were forgotten. Factories stopped making cars and started making drones, shielding, and defense bots. A strange feeling began to grow in the hearts of people. If this was the end, they would not die kneeling. Children asked their parents, "What will happen to us?" And the answer was the same across the world. We will fight. Inside the Empire fleet, the commanders still waited for Earth's reply. No answer came. Only silence. Some thought it was weakness. Others felt something was wrong. Why haven't they spoken? One captain asked. Because, Admiral Kravos said, staring into the dark, they're planning something. I can feel it. Back on Earth, deep in a control Chamber beneath the Mojave Desert, Alara watched as thousands of defense systems aligned. Satellite weapons, stealth drones, orbital railguns, all hidden from the Empire's eyes, were now locked on target. A small smile crossed her lips. She leaned forward and whispered to herself, "You came to command us, but you don't understand. Earth doesn't kneel, Earth doesn't break." And somewhere far above, as the Empire moved closer to Mars, the countdown began. Earth was ready. The world was quiet on the surface, but beneath that silence, a storm was coming. A storm that would change the galaxy forever. The Empire waited for Earth's reply. Days passed, then a week, but Earth said nothing. No surrender, no threats, just silence. From orbit, it looked like Earth had accepted its fate, that it had frozen in fear. The Empire believed this was how most weaker planets behaved before submitting. But this time, something was different. Admiral Kravos stood on the bridge of the Empire's command ship, the Dominion Wraith. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "They're too quiet," he said. "Either they're broken, or they're hiding teeth." He gave a signal. A group of 10 small but powerful scout ships were sent to Earth. Their mission was simple: fly low, scan the cities, and test Earth's defenses. These ships were fast and nearly invisible. No planet had ever detected them before. But as they entered Earth's atmosphere, something strange happened. The first ship flew above North America. Just as it passed over a military base, its signal vanished. No explosion, no warning. 1 second it was flying, the next it was gone. The second ship, flying over Europe, sent out a burst of static before its feed cut out. The rest of the scout fleet turned back, but it was too late. One by one, the invisible ships blinked out of existence. Not a trace left behind. Back on. The Dominion Wraith, alarms blared. Technicians scrambled. "They've been wiped out," one officer said. "By what?" Kravos demanded. No one had an answer. Meanwhile, on Earth, Aegis watched from the shadows. Inside a hidden control facility deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, Commander Alara watched a screen filled with data. 5 ships neutralized. Clean kills. No detection. Her team nodded silently. The traps had worked perfectly. Electromagnetic snares, stealth disruptors, and nanobot clouds, tools Earth had hidden for years, had just claimed their first targets. But Alara knew this was only the beginning. Earth still said nothing. No broadcasts. No warnings. But across the planet, movement was happening. The silence wasn't fear. It was strategy. Factories that once built satellites were now creating railgun turrets. Power plants were converting to fusion cores. Engineers worked non-stop to upgrade Earth's defenses. Civilians trained in underground bunkers. Nations shared intelligence openly. For the first time in history, Earth stood as one. In space, the Empire began to grow uneasy. "Prepare a warning shot," Kravos ordered. "Let them know we are done waiting." The Empire fired a beam from a cruiser parked above the Pacific Ocean. The energy blast cut through clouds and hit open sea, boiling water instantly and sending a shockwave that reached the coasts of 3 countries. Millions watched the sky light up. And then came Earth's first reply. It wasn't sent by a government. It wasn't spoken by a world leader. It came from the dark side of the moon. A message burst through every communication channel in the Empire's fleet. The voice was calm, human, and cold. "You fired first. You will not fire again." At that same moment, Earth's stealth satellites came online. Dozens of beams shot from high orbit. They didn't destroy the Empire's ships. They disabled their shields, shut down their weapons, and jammed their comms. Within seconds, the mighty fleet found itself blind and vulnerable. Panic broke out inside the Dominion Wraith. "Where is this coming from?" shouted one officer. "How is this possible?" Kravos slammed his fist on the console. "Find their command source, now!" But it was already too late. Back on Earth, Commander Alara watched the chaos unfold. In orbit, her eyes were steady. "Let them feel what we felt," she said. "Let them feel powerless." At that moment, somewhere above Earth's equator, A hidden satellite opened its core. Inside, a glowing orb hummed with stored energy. It had been waiting for years. It was called the Ether Lance, a final line of defense. Or if needed, the first strike. Alara didn't launch it yet. She didn't need to. Not yet. Instead, she turned to her officers and said, "Let the Empire know. Earth is awake." In space, the Empire's fleet tried to recover. Ships rebooted systems, weapons powered up. But trust had already cracked. "We underestimated them," said one commander. Kravos didn't respond. He stared at Earth through the glass. "No," he said softly. "We made a mistake. A big one. And Earth was just getting started." The silence was broken. Now came the storm. When the Empire's warships fired on Earth's orbitals, they expected no resistance. No warning. No counterattack. For centuries, no planet had ever dared to fight back. Most surrendered after the first blast. The few who tried to resist had been wiped out in days. The Galactic Empire believed Earth would break the same way. They were wrong. At 02 GART Earth Standard Time, 3 Imperial destroyers opened fire on Earth's outer orbital defense ring. They aimed for communication towers and low-orbit satellites. Explosions filled the dark sky above the Pacific Ocean. Earth's orbit lit up like a storm. The Empire expected silence in return. Instead, something unexpected happened. Out of nowhere, small black objects appeared around the destroyers. They didn't show up on Empire radar. They didn't make a sound. But in less than 10 seconds, the lead destroyer lost power. Lights shut off. Engines died. Then, without warning, the ship split into 3 clean pieces, cut by something so fast, it wasn't even seen. Admiral Kravos watched in disbelief from the Dominion Wraith. "What just happened?" he barked. Officers scrambled to answer. "Unknown attack. No projectiles detected. No heat signature. No visible source." "Then how is the ship gone?" Kravos snapped. More reports came in. Another destroyer had been hit. Its core had been shut down remotely. The third ship tried to escape, only to vanish in a bright blue flash. Not a single distress signal. Not a single survivor. On Earth, deep inside Aegis Command, Commander Alara watched the battle unfold in silence. Around her, the room was calm. Teams moved with quiet speed. There was no celebration, no cheering, only focus. "Operation Ghost Knife is working," said her tech officer. "Phase 1 complete. 3 ships neutralized." Alara nodded. "Prepare Phase 2. Let them feel pressure." Outside the atmosphere, a new group of Earth drones activated. These weren't simple machines. They were stealth units built with AI learning, anti-signal coding, and quantum movement. They didn't fly. They blinked. One moment invisible, the next already near their target. The drones moved across the Empire fleet like shadows. They didn't attack yet. They simply scanned, mapped, and fed data back to Earth, every weak point. Every energy signature, every communication pattern. The Empire still thought Earth had only fired by luck. They didn't know the real attack hadn't even started. On the bridge of the Dominion Wraith, Admiral Kravos stared at the glowing planet below. "I want answers," he said. "Where is this power coming from? What is Earth hiding?" One of his officers hesitated, then spoke. "Sir, we think they're using cloaked satellites. Possibly even tech we've never seen." Kravos turned slowly. "You're telling me this primitive world is outsmarting us?" The officer didn't respond. He didn't have to. Back on Earth, public news stations were silent. The governments had ordered media blackouts. They didn't want panic. But in secret channels across the military and scientific networks, word was spreading fast. Earth was winning. The people didn't know the full truth yet, but they could feel something had changed. The fear was still there, but now it was mixed with hope. Something about the silence from the Empire felt different, as if Earth had punched the bully back, and the bully didn't know what to do. Inside a hidden base under Antarctica, an emergency war council gathered. Generals from every major power, top Aegis scientists, and AI strategists shared updates. "We've disrupted 60% of their tracking systems," said one scientist. We've intercepted half their transmissions, said another. Their fleet's command structure is cracking. Commander Ilara entered the room. Everyone stood. She didn't waste time. They want us to be afraid, but now they're the ones guessing. They don't understand Earth. A general asked, "What's next?" Ilara answered with one word, "Strike." Meanwhile, in orbit, Earth's drones finally acted. One by one, they attached to key ships in the Empire's second wave. Instead of destroying them, they hacked them. Engines reversed, doors locked, life support shut down. Inside those ships, confusion turned to terror. Soldiers who thought they were untouchable now floated helplessly in dead vessels. Admiral Kravos watched as over a dozen ships dropped from formation. "Begin full-scale assault!" he shouted. "Wipe them out!" But when the Empire's ships fired again, Earth was ready. From the far side of the moon, hidden cannons opened fire. They launched solid rods at hypersonic speed, no energy signatures, no heat. Just pure, silent death. These kinetic lances moved so fast that no shield could stop them. One cruiser was sliced in half before its crew even saw the impact. Then, Earth fired its first public message to the entire Empire fleet. It was short. "You came to command us. Now, you answer to us." In that moment, something shifted. For the first time in decades, the Empire's fleet retreated. Not far, not defeated, but shaken. Earth had not submitted. Earth had struck first, and Earth had drawn blood. The galaxy would never see this planet the same way again. Darkness filled the Empire's command room aboard the Dominion Wraith. Red lights flashed. Sirens echoed down the long corridors. What had started as a simple mission of control had turned into a nightmare. Admiral Kravos stared at the battlefield maps. Ships lost, signals cut, systems jammed. Earth was fighting back, and fighting smart. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "This planet was supposed to be nothing." No one answered him. In space, the Empire's fleet floated in confusion. Some ships were still functional. Others were completely dead, frozen, powerless, drifting. Soldiers inside had stopped following orders. Some were praying, some were crying. The fear of death had been replaced by something worse, the fear of the unknown. Back on Earth inside Aegis Command, Commander Ilara stood in front of a massive holographic display. All across it were glowing dots, each one a satellite, a drone, a stealth weapon, or a live tap into the Empire's systems. "We're ready," her tech officer said. "Operation Phantom Veil is active. They see what we want them to see." "Good," Ilara replied. "Now we begin the real battle." Earth wasn't just using weapons. It was using deception. The Empire's sensors showed false fleets, ghost ships made of light and static, fake missile launches, invisible strike teams. The Empire couldn't tell what was real and what was a trick. They had walked into a battlefield built by humans. For humans. In low orbit, a hidden Terran warship named Vigilant Storm uncloaked for the first time. It didn't look like a traditional ship. Its shape was sharp, angular, almost alien. Its surface changed color, bending light. It had no windows, no visible weapons. But inside, it held some of Earth's most advanced tech, built in secret, far from the eyes of the public. The Vigilant Storm moved toward a damaged Imperial carrier. The enemy ship still had power, but it wasn't expecting an attack from a single human vessel. It should have. The Vigilant Storm released a small pulse, silent and invisible. It passed through the carrier like wind. A few seconds later, the carrier's core shut down. Lights died, shields collapsed. Then came the second wave. 6 missiles that weren't really missiles at all. They were pods filled with nanobots. Once inside, the bots began melting the ship's systems from the inside out. The carrier never even had time to scream. From his throne-like chair on the Dominion Wraith, Admiral Kravos stared at the reports. "Earth is not defending itself," he said coldly. "Earth is hunting us." Back on Earth, Ilara's team picked up something strange. "We're getting a signal," her communication officer said. "From deep space. It's not human." She looked closer. The signal wasn't coming from the Empire. It was coming from a third party, a warning. "Ilara, the officer said quietly. Someone else is watching. The message was short. One sentence. You have awakened the planet. Let it burn, or it will burn you. Who sent it? No one knew. But the meaning was clear. Someone, or something, out in the stars, had been watching Earth for a long time. Waiting. Now that Earth had shown its power, others were taking notice. Still, Earth focused on the current threat. A new wave of drones launched from Earth's surface. These weren't like the earlier ones. These were Reapers, designed to chase, pierce, and destroy. Fast, smart, deadly. They didn't need human pilots. They made decisions in milliseconds. They swarmed the crippled parts of the Empire's fleet. One by one, ships vanished from orbit. Silent kills, fast and clean. The Reapers didn't stop. They didn't show mercy. For the first time in his life, Admiral Kravos felt something he had never felt before. Helplessness. His fleet was breaking. Morale was gone. He turned to his second-in-command. Send a message to the capital. We need reinforcements. But the officer didn't move. He stared at the screen in horror. Sir, the capital has gone dark. Kravos's blood ran cold. What? No signals. No response. It's like something's interfering. From here, Kravos realized the truth. Earth wasn't just fighting the fleet. Earth was cutting the Empire off. From itself. In space, above Earth's south pole, a huge satellite came online. It wasn't a weapon. It was worse. It was a signal blocker the size of a city. It created a field that jammed all long-distance transmissions. The Empire's fleet was now alone, blind, trapped, and Earth was closing in. Inside Aegis Command, Ilara stood tall. She looked at the live map. Then she gave the order. Phase 3. Now. Across the sky, Earth's true fleet uncloaked, ships the Empire had never seen. Dozens of them, sleek, silent, unstoppable. The final stage had begun. The galaxy would remember this day, the day Earth stopped listening and started the purge. Silence spread across the Empire's broken fleet. What once filled the sky with dominance now floated like shattered glass. Earth's true fleet had revealed itself. Silent shadows made of dark metal, with no lights, no markings, and no fear. Admiral Kravos stood on the bridge of the Dominion Wraith, his mouth dry. In front of him, 20 Earth warships moved through space like ghosts. They didn't match any known design. They were fast, faster than anything the Empire had ever built. And they didn't fire missiles or lasers. They didn't need to. They simply erased. One Earth ship passed close to an Empire cruiser. A few seconds later, the cruiser folded in on itself, imploded, like it had been crushed by an invisible fist. No sound, no warning, just destruction. Kravos turned to his officers. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. No one answered. No one knew. Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Ilara watched calmly as the display showed one enemy ship after another falling apart. Her voice remained steady. They wanted obedience. Instead, they found extinction. Across the world, Aegis outposts were active. AI-guided weapons, planetary defense fields, and orbital kinetic rods were all online. Earth had been preparing in secret for decades, not for a war, but for this war. The one everyone said would never happen. The one the Empire never expected to lose. Deep beneath the Andes Mountains, in a lab known as Black Rift, Dr. Mara Lian looked at the core of Earth's most dangerous invention, the event engine. It wasn't a bomb. It wasn't a weapon in the normal sense. It could bend gravity, distort time, and collapse space in short bursts. A machine that could erase objects, or entire ships, from reality. "We're ready for controlled tests," her assistant said. Mara nodded. "Tell Aegis, if they push harder, we'll erase their command vessel from existence." At the same time, the Empire fleet tried one final tactic, a full-speed charge toward Earth. What was left of their strongest ships grouped together. 5 dreadnoughts, 2 heavy carriers, 30 smaller destroyers. Their goal was simple: smash, through Earth's defenses, land on the surface, and break the command from within. But Earth was waiting. As the Empire ships neared the planet, they passed into what looked like empty space. But it wasn't. Thousands of small black drones, each the size of a bullet, activated. These were the sky mines. They floated still, invisible to sensors, until the moment a ship came close. One destroyer hit the cloud first. It exploded from within as every system was cut in under 1 second. The other ships slowed, but it was too late. The sky mines swarmed. They didn't just destroy, they consumed. The dreadnoughts fought back, but they were too big, too slow. Their heavy armor didn't matter. The sky mines bypassed shields, entering through vents, ports, cracks. One dreadnought fired everything it had, and then froze. Its own weapons turned against it, hacked from the inside. From the Dominion Wraith, Admiral Kravos stared at the live feed in disbelief. "They've turned space into a trap," he said softly. "They knew we'd try this." He looked around the room. Half his officers were gone. Some dead, some missing, some refusing to fight. The Empire had never lost like this before. And Kravos could feel it. This wasn't just defeat. This was punishment. Back on Earth, Commander Alara stood before the Council. Screens around her showed the full picture. The Empire's command structure was falling apart. No messages were getting out. No reinforcements were arriving. No leadership remained in control. The Empire had become a blind beast. And Earth was driving in the final blade. "Send them the message," Alara said. A signal was broadcast across the Empire's frequencies. Earth's voice was cold and clear. "You came to rule. You came with fire. Now burn in it." It wasn't just a threat. It was a sentence. The vigilant storm approached the Dominion Wraith. It didn't fire. Instead, it launched a sphere, a silent device that latched onto the Wraith's hull. Inside, Kravos felt the pressure change. His crew looked at him with horror. "What's happening?" one shouted. Kravos said nothing. He already knew. In 30 seconds, the Dominion Wraith began collapsing, its mass folding inward like paper crushed by a hand. There were no survivors. Alara received the confirmation. The Empire's command ship was gone. She didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. She just turned to her officers. "Begin planetary scan. Make sure none of them escape. Not one." All across space, Earth's machines moved like a tide, sweeping every last trace of the Empire's fleet. No prisoners, no warnings, just silence. The galaxy would hear about this battle, but not from Earth. They would hear it in whispers. In fear. The Terran world had been challenged, and it had answered with annihilation. The battle was over. What remained of the Empire's fleet floated in silent pieces, scattered like ash across Earth's orbit. Not a single Imperial transmission had escaped the solar system. Earth's defenses had seen to that. The once mighty invaders had arrived with arrogance, demanding obedience, offering destruction. But Earth gave them something far worse: oblivion. Inside Aegis Command, Commander T. Alara stood alone in the control room. The lights were dim, screens filled with glowing data. Reports poured in from orbital stations, satellites and drones. All said the same thing: no signs of enemy survivors. Yet, Alara didn't feel peace. She stared at the live feed of space. The stars beyond twinkled silently, but in her heart, she knew something had changed. Earth's secret had been revealed. Its strength, hidden for decades, was now exposed to the stars. And the stars were watching. A quiet alarm echoed through the command center, low and steady. Not a threat, but a detection. A signal had appeared, far beyond Pluto. One ship, unmarked, no known configuration. Unknown vessel entering the system, said her officer. "It's not Empire." "Let's see it," Alara replied. The screen zoomed in. A long, needle-shaped ship moved slowly through space. Its surface shimmered, reflecting no heat, no radiation, as if it didn't exist. "It's just watching," the officer added. "No weapons, no message." Alara narrowed her eyes. Then it's scouting. Someone else knows what happened here. At the same time, deep beneath the ice of Antarctica, Earth's council gathered again, this time in person, in the vault. The vault was the heart of Earth's post-Empire defense program. 10 world leaders, 2 AI representatives, and Commander Alara stood around a circular table. "This war is not over," said the German Chancellor. "It's only changed." The Indian Prime Minister agreed. "We destroyed a fleet, but now the galaxy knows Earth is not a backwater world. They'll come, not to demand, but to steal, to conquer." One of the AI representatives spoke. "Our cloak is gone. Our power is visible. We must now become what we pretended not to be, a force." Commander Alara looked at them all. "We've already started," she said. "You've seen the scans. Earth is not alone anymore. That ship at the edge of the system, it's not observing us, it's measuring us." "What do we do?" asked the President of the Americas. "We speak," said Alara, "not with words, but with a message the stars will understand." The vault went silent. Later that day, across every deep space satellite, Earth broadcast a message, not to any one species, but to all civilizations listening beyond the edge of known space. The signal was short. To those watching, "You saw what came. You saw what happened. Do not test this planet. We have answered once. We will not hesitate again." That was all. No threats, no politics, just truth. Across the galaxy, listening, stations picked it up, pirate outposts, trade ships, hidden alien governments. Some laughed, others grew quiet. But all of them marked one star on their charts with a new label. Terran Zone, do not approach. Meanwhile, high above Earth, the vigilant storm remained in orbit. It wasn't resting. It was patrolling. Earth's defense fleet had changed. Roles, no longer hidden, now active, watchful. The planet was surrounded by an invisible shield of force, intelligence, and firepower. But something else had begun. In hidden labs and secret facilities, Earth scientists began work on something new, based on what they had learned from the Empire's wreckage. Alien technology, hyperdrives, bioarmor. They didn't just want to defend Earth, they wanted to go beyond it. Because now, they understood something the Empire had never guessed. The galaxy wasn't as advanced as it pretended to be. Earth had caught up and passed it, and Earth was just getting started. In one lab, Dr. Mara Leon stood over the event engine core. She turned to her team. "You've studied the Empire's communication matrix?" "Yes," her assistant replied. "We can now tap into the long-range galactic network." Mara smiled faintly, then let them listen. That night, Earth sent one more message across the stars, this time in the Empire's own encrypted frequency. The message said only one thing: "We have learned, we have grown, and we are coming." On the far side of the galaxy, in a hidden station of another empire, an alien council listened to the signal. Their leader frowned. Earth is awake. And far beyond even them, something ancient stirred. Because when a quiet world screams back, the universe always hears it. The stars were no longer quiet. Across distant galaxies, strange worlds, and hidden empires, a new name echoed like thunder. Earth. A forgotten blue world. A young species. Once ignored, now feared. The destruction of the Galactic Empire's fleet had changed everything. Billions had watched the impossible happen, how one small planet, once thought weak, had erased an entire armada without mercy. No survivors, no negotiations, no retreat, just total annihilation. On the far edge of the Milky Way, a gathering of alien warlords took place in a secret system known only as the Deep Ring. It had existed for thousands of years, a place where weapons were traded, invasions planned, and planets bought and sold. But now, every screen in the Deep Ring showed the same footage. Earth's black warships moving like shadows, the Empire's dreadnoughts folding in on themselves. The final message Earth had sent: "We have learned, we have grown, and we are coming." A silence fell over the warlords. These were beings who had conquered hundreds of worlds, yet none spoke. They feared Earth. Meanwhile, in Earth's orbit, the Terran defense fleet was no longer hiding. It moved between space stations, moons, and new construction zones. Massive starship frames floated above the planet. Giant engines glowed as workers in armored suits attached alien tech to human steel. Earth was not only rebuilding, it was evolving. Inside Aegis Command, Commander Alara stood before the final council meeting. The war was over, but something new was beginning. "The Empire is gone," she said, "but others are watching. Some are afraid, others are not." "What do you suggest?" asked the African leader. Alara turned to a large hologram behind her, showing a star map. "We push outward. We don't wait for the next invaders. We take the initiative. The galaxy thinks we're dangerous. Let's prove it." There were no objections. The vote passed. Earth was going interstellar. Back in the Black Rift lab, Dr. Mara Leon stared at a new kind of engine, built with pieces of Empire tech and powered by Earth's event core. It could fold space, shift mass, and cross hundreds of light years in a breath. Her assistant stepped forward. "Prototype is ready." Mara gave a quiet nod. "Prepare the ship." Across the world, recruitment centers opened. Soldiers, scientists, explorers, pilots. The best of humanity came forward, not for conquest, but for one purpose: never be caught off guard again. The first of Earth's new ships, the TSS Oblivion, rose from a hidden launch site in the Pacific. It was silent, black as space, longer than any aircraft carrier. Its weapons were locked, behind invisible shields. Its power came not from fuel, but from gravity itself. Commander Alara would command it personally. Before launch, she sent one final message to all Terran citizens. "We are no longer isolated, no longer prey. The galaxy has tested us, and it has learned. Earth does not kneel. We rise." Cheers spread across every continent. From the cities of Mars to the bunkers of Antarctica, people watched history change. As the Oblivion left Earth's orbit, it passed the remains of the Empire's fleet, still floating, untouched, like warning signs in the dark. The new crew stared silently. "What happens if we meet another Empire?" the helmsman asked. Alara replied without emotion. "Then we show them what the last one saw." From deep space, unknown sensors locked onto the Oblivion. Alien councils whispered. Others prepared. Some even started planning for revenge. But it was too late. Earth was no longer behind. It was ahead, and it was moving fast. Far away, beyond the stars known to humans, something ancient stirred in the void. It had slept for thousands of years, hidden in dark space between galaxies. It was not a fleet. It was not an empire. It was something older. And now, it had heard Earth's signal. Its thoughts were not of peace, but curiosity. "They destroy as we once did," the being whispered in a voice that echoed across dimensions. "Let us see if they survive us." Back on Earth, no one knew what was coming, but they were ready. For now, Earth had teeth. It had secrets. It had strength. And it had something the galaxy feared most: human will. The stars were no longer safe from Earth, because Earth no longer needed to defend itself. It had become the thing others feared, and the galaxy would never be the same again.